How's it going? What's up, guys? Just checking in after a long day of work, trying to figure out what the plan is for tomorrow, and just going over a couple of videos. And then, we're going to kind of wait and see how tomorrow's going to go. I'm trying to pull up my Bassmasters stuff, and we're going to check that out so I can do a quick recap. Let me see, where is it? Bass. Hang on, guys, I'll get there. Hey, what's up there, Gnarly 20? Where's my team? All right, guys, here we go. The update. I'm just goofing around with the lure. I just put hooks on this guy. Custom painted. It was blank, and it's rough by design. So this one's going to be on the coast. It's got a little bit of glitter on there, but I can also use it for murky water up in Iowa. So single hooks, I'm telling you guys, they work. I know a lot of people are like, oh, single hooks, and then don't listen to that. Single hooks, I've caught them tons of times, and it kind of helps with the snags. So don't be afraid of that. All right, let's take a look. Day 2. Let's see how my guys did. Remember, I had Greg Hackney, Ben Milliken, Seth Feider, Chris Zaldane, and Chad Pipkins. All right. Let's see. Woo! Greg Hackney is in 93rd place. I don't think he's going to make the cut. Ben Milliken is in 14th place. Seth Feider, 71. Ooh, I don't think he's going to make the cut. Chris Zaldane, 30th, man. He dropped way back. I think he had 17 pounds today. Seth had 15. Ben had 18. And Hackney had 10. And then Pipkins, he only caught 2 fish, 4 pounds. So I don't really have anybody who's going to make the cut. Man, that was tough. So I think it was really windy today, and it was causing some problems out there. 9 hours until day 3. So, of course, Kiyoya Fujita is still in first, but Schlapper's in second, Robert Geese in third, Jordan Lee fourth, Palmer fifth. Chris Johnson had the big bass, and he's sixth. Stetson Blaylock is seventh. Wetherill Alex is in eighth. Matt Arey is in 9, and Patrick Walters is 10th. So that is your Bassmasters Elite Series update. All right, so I just wanted to kind of go through that. All right, guys, so tomorrow I got to get out there and get some fishing in. The weekend has arrived, just like Gnarly 20 was saying. So this is the plan for tomorrow. The plan is to go to 2 spots. The thing is, which one do I go to first? That's going to be the tough one. Let me get this down here and out of the way. One thing I'm going to do is I got to work on using a square bill. So I'm thinking about doing like a little square bill competition with different companies. The problem is there's so many to choose from. One that's going in the box is going to be the Weston. Now, realistically, when you do a challenge like this, you want them all to be the same color so you can get an equal playing field to determine who's what. But for us, we're just going to grab different brands, and whatever I take out is whatever I take out. What is this one? Ooh, careful. This one's an Excalibur square bill. So we have the Weston, the Excalibur. What is this dude? Oh, this is a Whopper, River to Sea, the Whopper Plopper folks. So he's going in there. We got to throw the Gordito in here. This is one of my original ones. This is actually pretty sweet. That's a nice crankbait right there, guys. So he's going in there. Let's see. That's more of a coffin. This is that Click and Fritz side. I guess you could say it's a square bill, but we're not going to go with that. What else do we have? Ooh, we got an H2O. Look at that color on there, that lavender. This guy's going in for sure. Just think, guys, I hadn't even made it to the bomber selection yet. Who in the... I already have one of these, Excalibur. Who is this dude? Golly. I'm going to have to look this up later. I can't remember who this is. Check that sucker out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. That's it. We're going to put this guy. This is just my little hodgepodge container of various brands. All right, we'll get this out of the way. All right, the next box. Ooh. These are the Monster Bass crankbaits. And guys, you'll have to forgive me for all the names of them. Is it a Curve 55? All those different names. So I'll have to look that up later. Where are the square bills? Where's my square bills? Where are the square bills? Check these out, guys. These are these Bagleys, but they're not square bills. Do I have a square bill Bagley? Will this Bagley go back in here? There we go. Nope, I don't have any square. What is this guy? Nope, not a square bill. That one's not a square bill. Not a square bill. Wow, I don't have any Monster Bass square bills except for one. And that's this guy right here. All right, so we got that guy. Now, we're going to bomber. Oh. You guys hadn't even touched the 6th cent. All right, so let's see for bomber. These square bills are these little fat A's. These little fat square bills. Man, this is going to be a tough call, guys. Do I want this kind of apple craw? Look at that square bill on there. From bomber. This one's more of like a... No, they're the same. No, this one's got more of a cherry red. Cherry red. This one's like an app craw red. All right, so we got those. But I think for this competition for tomorrow, I'm going to go with this little craw right here. All right, so let's get our count up to date. We've got 8 different crankbaits that are small square bills for the competition tomorrow. Now, don't move because I got to get my 6 cents tray. All right, so with the 6 cents tray, I'm trying to get one from each company. Could it be this guy? Look at this fatty. This guy's just huge. Good shad pattern. He's a possibility. Look at this guy with that lavender. He's another big fatty square bill. I don't know, guys. This is going to be tough. Gold. I got him in gold. I'll have to look up the names later for the 6 cents and the monster bass. I've just got so many. Check out this guy. Can't go wrong with little chartreuse. So maybe you should help pick the color in there. You got this blue. I mean, guys, I've got so many square bills here. I may have to do just a 6 cents square bill competition on its own one day. Man, look at this guy. Is a lipless. I can't make a decision. Here's another purple one. Then I got a whole bunch of the smaller sized. Check out this guy. We've got this guy. Oh, what were the names of those? I used to know them. I may have to pull them up here. It's going to drive me. Look at the colors on that thing. So I got to figure out here which one. Oh my gosh, guys. And I forgot all about the Curve 55, which is kind of like the old Wigglewort. Man, this thing is the champ right here. I can't make a decision on it. This thing comes in purple. Actually, that may be the Curve 50. It's just too many, guys. I can't decide on one. Check out the colors on these. But I think I like this dude. Wasn't there a purple one? Check that out. So remember, something with the dot right here is going to work well, because no matter how I move this, you're always going to be looking right at that dot. The same thing when a fish comes up, pow, he's going to hit that spot. But should I get a traditional silver shad or this one? Or the kind of gold, or one of the smaller ones, or maybe this kind of avocado green. It's got a little bit of red flare on the gill, but it doesn't have that. I need to put some polish on there, get that dot on there. All right. It's like a sauna in here. Is the fan on? Yes, man. I'm just sweating up a storm. So this will make number 9. Unless I want to throw in 2 from 6 cents to make it an even 10. Man, this is just good. Well, this one's got a little bit, it's like got like a green and purple in there. All right, for sure we're going to go with this guy. I'm not going to do a small category and a big category. But should we throw in one more from 6 cents? These are the guys that are out of Houston, but I think Rapala bought them now. As much as I love bombers, guys, 6 cents, these things are phenomenal too. All right. I just can't do, and this guy's bigger than all the other ones. Maybe I should get something that's a little bit more in tune with its size. No, I like that. I want to throw this big one. All right, guys. This one is kind of like a hybrid, but I'm still going to call it a square bill. This is the H2O. All right. Okay, so we're set. Let's recap the 10. Come on, get out of there. That one got hooked on the, almost got me, and then almost got the edge of the, well, it did get the edge of the tackle box, or the tackle tray. Okay, here we go. Look at that bad boy right there. Man, that's just goodness. 6 cents. You know which one I'm rooting for is this little bomber right here. Then we have the monster bass. Check out those colors. He's got different colored hooks on there. Interesting. And that's the thing, is it came that way in the subscription box. We got a 2 to 5er. This is the unidentifiable one. This may be like a Yozuri or something. Here's our H2O. This kind of reminds me of a Bomber 4A size. Weston, here's my other dark horse one. These guys are what, out of Finland or someplace like that. Look at the colors on that. Then we've got the Excalibur. Look at that gold and red. So for one location, I'm going to bring this tray with me for the crankbait square bill challenge. This is the Biggie Popper, River to Sea, the folks that make the Whopper Plopper. Never even knew they made that. And then right here we got this little Gordito, and I can't remember who makes this. It says it goes down to 7 feet. Looks like a little craw. All right, so there we go for our competition. We've got 9 of them. Place your bets, place your bets, place your bets. My bet's going to be on the Bomber and the Weston. Doesn't mean I'm going to throw them differently to try to get a bite. I'm just saying that, you know, that's what's going to, those are the ones I'm going with. All right, let me get this out of the way, and then we'll talk about some other things. Ooh, come on. Ah, there we go. Let me get this out of the way. Got computer stuff everywhere. Okay, let me get this. Oh. Here's my plug again. Get your ammo cans. If you ever see them drop under $5 from Harbor Freight. Of course, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but I just got those in a couple years ago, and I was like, yep. All right, where were we? We're almost through the rest of those. The question is, which colors are we going to do today? We're going to go back with Marabou, Feathers, Craft Fur, Bucktails. I guess I could close my eyes and just yank them out of there. Oh, I'm getting a message from a text from one of my buddies. He's like, you didn't do the intro. And I'm sitting here thinking, what intro? I can see it come through. I can't reply to him, but that's exactly what I'm thinking. What intro? Ah, the intro. Welcome back, fishing friends, to the worldwide headquarters of the Pinhook Fishing Club. It's evening here where we're going to be doing a little bit of everything. We've already got a lot of stuff rolling. All right, we're going to start off with some feathers, and then we'll get started. What else do I need? Pliers or my glue? Oh, it's right here. Let me get the vise. Yeah, this is the thing, is I always forget I got to move the vise way the heck over so you guys can see. Let's get it going. We only had 2 of the orange left, and then we're down to the white, and we can put those little mini panfish jigs to bed. And then I got to figure out who I'm going to give them to. Some are going to my cousins. They're all piled in here, and I'll start packaging them up a little bit different. They're not in any danger of getting smushed or anything in there. So hope you guys had a great week. I was excited because of the Bassmaster Elite Series started. I mean, I've got some good anglers, guys. It's just, you're dealing with live animals, and like today it was windy. So on a day like today, personally, all these guys are throwing like little swim baits and stuff. I would have started with a good old fashioned spinner bait, slow rolling, get it way down there. And if that didn't work, then I would have switched to a jerk bait. A lot of guys were throwing jerk baits down there. That's what I want to do with, if I can get to Rathman this summer. My cousin Matt lives near there, and I want to be able to, for us to get out on the lake. We did a few years ago, and I want us to troll with those Smithwicks, those deep divers that are about this long. They'll get down there, and I think we'll have some good luck using those. Once again, a shout out and a big thank you to one of my friends that donated some wonderful, their family donated some wonderful supplies. Ooh, that's going to be a little too long, but we're going to go with it. There we go. Got one of my fishing videos going on in the background there. So I've been trying to get ready for the summer. Some of the techniques, I know the water level, or the water level changes, but a lot of times structure. I'll show up at one of my favorite spots, and there'll be these huge tree trunks that have appeared. And so I'm like, all right, we got to deal with structure right here in the middle of everything. I need to do a jerk bait comparison, or a little contest. I did one with stick baits. I've done two of them. I've done them with like the, whatever that giant Guggen's lunker log, the Yamamoto, what were those, 6-inch stick baits? And I think the Yamamoto won out on that in that little competition. Okay, I just need a couple more feathers here. Yeah, guys, don't fall asleep on 6-inch Senko stick baits. I know the rage is like 5. And then back in the day on a little 4-inch worm, people would do the split shot rig, which I don't really do very much. I should probably do that, test it out a little more. It's a popular way to catch them. All right. So we are almost done with our orange 1/64th rinky dinky jigs here. But anyway, so that's the plan out on Rathman, is to get out there with my cousins and do some trolling. I don't know if when I'm fishing with my buddy Andrew, he's going to want to be able to do that or not. Up in Wisconsin, I'm going to have to talk him into it. Check this out. Look at that. Excellent. Excellent. Let's get this one rolling. So I'm continuing to do this this YouTube trend. They're like, do more lives. I've already explained that a million times, but I'm starting to get used to it. I think it's actually pretty fun just to hang out and chat, talk fantasy fishing. I don't know, guys. Tomorrow I was checking the weather. It's supposed to be, I mean, we're supposed to get into the 90s this weekend. So the water temperatures are going to change again over there now, or the conditions. The water temperature won't change that fast for them overnight, but the fish may be a little bit more active. And I'm not sure, what do they cut it down to 50 for tomorrow? And then Sundays, they cut it down to 10 for the championship. Or not the championship, but you know, for the last round. I just heard it in the background. I'm throwing a lunker log, and I went back there to take a peek. Sure enough, at the pond that I've got in the background of that video, I've got a whole new strategy for this summer. I've got a massive punch rig I'm going to be bombing in there. And if anything, I've got some crankbait stuff that'll work too to deal with a lot of that mess. It's just a ton of cabbage in there. Check this out. This is going to be perfect. Look at that. All right. Oh, I forgot to even mention what we're using, kind of a a purple flash on this one. Oh, I caught a bass in the cabbage there. So I was running along the cattails. I think this summer in that spot, I'm going to go with a heavy punching rig because I've never thrown one there. We'll see how it goes. I can hear myself in the background. I'm like, geez, Louise, it's like trying to pull teeth getting fish out of here. It is, man. It is a tough spot to get fish out of there. I got 2 fish out of there. Wow, I did get 2 out of there. That's actually pretty remarkable for how that spot fishes. The weeds come up off the bottom and they come right up to about a foot from the surface, and it is hard to fish that. I mean, really hard to fish it. So the bass, there's big bass in there, and they just lay in there and just ambush the predator fish. And there's some smaller bass in there too, but they used to have carp in there that would keep all that grass out, and it kind of got away from them. The bass club, there was a little bass club there. They didn't want the carp in it. Well, when they took the carp out, guess what happened? The grass went crazy. So it's hard because it's a place where you want kids to be able to fish, and they don't do well there. Too many. Hang on, guys, I gotta trim this. All right, there we go. I gotta trim it just a little bit more. this little guy. This guy came out pretty good. There we go. And just like that, we are into the last color of these little minis. The white ones. And really, we don't have many of those. There you go. Now you can see them. Can we knock them all out tonight? Maybe. The other thing is, guys, I almost went out tonight, but I had too much stuff I had to do when I got home, and then I had some other stuff I didn't get to that I meant to get to. Ooh, what am I doing? I gotta lay this down first. Or else I was going to go out there tonight and throw the jerk baits at nighttime for striper down there. But it's a full moon, and so, you know, a lot of fishermen like to go by the lunar cycle. And if you follow any of that, full moon is, it's good stuff. Even a new moon. Last time I went out on a full moon, it was that we had that cold stretch, and I just, nothing was biting. It was such a pain in the rear. All right, let's get a little more from here. So I think I'm going to do the crankbait challenge in the morning at the crack of dawn. Then I'm going to do the other location is going to be my, let's get some of this gold flash. Secondary location is going to be up on the big lake. Well, they're both big lakes, but the big lake. Get out of there. There we go. Let's get our flash down. And then we're done with white. I didn't even check to see if the Celtics had a back-to-back when we're playing tonight. They beat the Bulls last night. It's my older brother's team. The Bulls had a nice lead at halftime, but in Chicago, but the Celtics came up and just crushed them. All right, guys, this one is the last for the white. Oh my gosh, look at all this trimming I've got to do. Just a little more. Look at this. Look at this. excuse me, the first one in the white series. What did I say, the last one? We're making some good progress. So there was a total of 50 in that little pack there. Truth be told, I got that by mistake. So I was adding it to a last minute Amazon order. And of course, you know how it is. You don't pay attention to how they change things up on you. Because I had got the 16ths that I normally get. And guess what? This was the 64ths. And I was like, are you kidding me? But then I realized, oh, it'll work out great because we've got, these will work for crappie just fine. Or little panfish, micro fishing. Be a Leo Shang special. Oh yeah, guys, that's one of the other channels I like to watch is Extreme Philly Fishing. Yeah, try to give a shout out to some of those other channels I like. Cast Queens is a couple of gals that get out there and really tear it up. And of course, Drag 'em Out. And then Adrian Webb, he's down in Australia. And then Angler X up there at La Crosse. He's the one that got me on to throwing the Reaction Innovation Skinny Dipper and Little Dipper swim baits. And I've since, it's going to come down between them and the Spark Shad. God, that Spark Shad is good. The Kitex I also like, but I just can't, I don't know. I just don't find the groove with the Kitex. I can hear myself having a fit in the background of that fishing video. I was like, for crying out loud. He took it, he was under, I didn't get him. Gosh, guys, I'm telling you, I just love fishing. There's just, of all the things in life that you would wind up really enjoy doing, that you can just relax and have fun with, your outdoors, is fishing. I have such a ball with it. Well, just like you guys probably. I mean, if you're here, thank you for the support. I know it's tough, guys, but I'm just trying to follow the recommendations there that they're throwing out. We're going to use green on this one. So, just dropping in these little chat streams. Honestly, they don't bother me too much. If anything, it's kind of like a verbal diary that I can go back and check in a few years, you know, and say, hey, what was I yapping about on there? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come on. We're not here for fat fingers. Unfortunately, fat fingers are causing problems here. Which shouldn't be the case, but it is. Anyway, so there's a bunch of channels I've been, what is it? Oh, I can't even think of them. They just pop up. Angling Spiders is a good one. They catch a lot of pike. Honestly, guys, pike is probably my favorite fish to catch. I know everybody's all geeked up about bass this, bass that. But we just grew up catching pike at our little local spot there. They were readily available. And you know what happens if you're a kid and you have a kid, or you're a kid and you really get into something and you have great success, you're like, man, this is awesome. And so the pike were always readily available, whether live bait, spinners. So I'll check out this one. So the pike were just phenomenal. Some great memories too. My dad would always put them, even if they were hammer handles, you know, we were like third, fourth, fifth grade. We'd get a hammer handle. He'd put it in a bucket for us to look at, take it home to show grandpa and grandma and mom if mom didn't make it out with us. My sister, she would catch a ton of pike too. She's a hammer out there. And before too long, my nephew, her son, will be a real hammer with pike. It takes a bit. You really gotta. They're ready and easy to catch if you got the right bait and you're in the right situation, but it takes some practice to kind of handle them and deal with them because they can be just a real ornery fish. I can hear myself complaining in that other video about something going wrong. A fish that got away. Yeah, guys, I go back and I'm looking at some of where I'm pitching the grub, or the tube's going to be the all-time favorite. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then the Kalen's lunker grub. That thing is a fish catching machine. And I want to try to throw these crankbaits in that rough water, the square bills, bounce them off the rocks down there. And maybe the jerk bait. Get some bites this summer, so that'll be my new project. I know I can catch them on the tube now. The last couple years I've been working on the tubes, because before that it was the MEPS and then of course live bait. But I'm thinking, hey man, I can do this on a tube, and the tube catches all of them. Largemouth, smallmouth, pike. I think I even had a little rock bass hit one on one of the, because I usually go with a 3 or 4 inch, but I had like a little 2.5 inch, and I had a little rock bass come up and crush it. All right, we got to get this off of here, or on here, this one little bit right here. And these are river pike, so the flowage that's there, it's a small river. So these pike, they're not super huge. They can be. I caught my PB there, 36.5 inches. For me, that was just an absolute beast in that water. It's a trophy. But it's not one of these big 40 some odd that these guys on angling spiders are catching way the heck up in Canada. All right. We're making some great progress here. What I should probably do is pull up my old videos and do an analysis of them. since I've learned so much since I've done a lot of these. And I've already told you guys who the ones that I've learned quite a bit from. Travis Manson, Epic Eric, old JP, Ken Duke, Terry Battisti, Frank Scalish, good old Matt, Brian the Carpenter. Trying to get this trimmed. There we go. Ooh. It's like I got fuzz in my eyes. From what? The feathers all... Woo! There we go. Come on. Do I have fuzz in my eye now? Holy cow. Shoosh. Let me get some water in there. All right, there we go. We're all set. It was this eye right here. Had to flush it. Okay. Should we go ahead and finish them? Do I even want to keep this case? I don't know. I'll keep it for something. We got just 4 more. Let's do it. We're going to go quick. 1, 2, 3. 3 steps to get it going. I don't want to rush too much because usually it turns into a disaster. Guys, I think I've worn out my... I think I've worn out the clippers on this on this little Swiss Army knife. I love this thing. It's called the Classic. I probably have done a whole video series on the Victorinox Swiss Army knives. I always have one within reach. In fact, in here, I've got 2 in reach, 3 in reach. 2 right up to my right. The Evo Grip, the Tinkerer. Oh, talking about a Kalen's Lunker Grub and a Bass Assassin. Oh yeah, that's the other one. Bass Assassins are pretty good, guys. People overlook those. Everyone's like the Kitech, Kitech, Kitech. Yes, we know Kitechs are great, but Walleye Assassin, Bass Assassin, Reaction Innovations. And the Spark Shad. Dude, that Spark Shad is just unbelievable. Yeah, and I didn't realize it when Chris Zaldane, he left that Mega Bass, that he doesn't really even, he doesn't want anything to do with the Spark Shad anymore. He's with like Monster Bass, Guggen. All right, let's get this. Ooh, I got a nice fish in the video. That's my next serious in purchase. is start building my Kalen's Lunker Grub collection. Because there's a bunch of colors they don't make anymore. Did you guys catch my mistake? Besides all the other mistakes, I made one big one. Yeah, we'll just keep it a secret. I think with the Kalen's Lunker Grub, I always throw the 4-inch, maybe 3-inch. But I need to start throwing the 5-inch, which is really nice grubs. All right, guys, we're almost done. Just a couple more. We got 3 more, and then we finish that entire. Let's go, let's go. Check this out. For a little panfish, it's going to work beautifully. I got to see if I can track down some of those Kalen Lunker Grub colors. I've got a ton of tubes. There's a beast of a fish I caught right there, a smallmouth. Golly. I can't wait to get up to Iowa this summer. Kalen's Lunker Grub. Yeah, I ticked off a whole bunch of guys at that spot now that I think of it. So everywhere I go when I'm not everywhere, but a lot of times when I'm up there fishing, my vehicle sticks out like a sore thumb because of the Texas plates, right? When I'm in Iowa. So I get to this spot and the parking lot's got a bunch of guys, some old timers talking, and they were nice. And one of them's like, "Oh my, Texas, what are you doing up here?" And I was like, the grandparents' farm is just, not far from here." Anyway, I was like, "Yeah, I'm here going to try to catch a few fish." And they're like, "Walleye?" And I was like, "Well, I'll be happy if I get one of those, but also I love catching smallmouth." And they call them rock bass. And I'm thinking to myself, no, a rock bass is like a completely different kind of a deal here. So I have all my stuff, and I get down to the water's cup just racing over the spillway. You can probably hear it in the background. So I get rigged up, and then of course, what do you think? Those guys start moseying on down to fish. And they're very curious as to what I'm gonna do. So nobody was in the spot that I picked, which was right where the water's rushing over. One of the guys is like, he's going to fish there because I guarantee they fish at the bottom where the water comes down. So I'm fishing the rapids. And so I'm casting through there. And it's like the third cast with either a Kalen, I'm pretty sure it was a Kalen's or maybe it was a tube. And just I cracked a smallmouth and pulled that thing out. And those guys, it was they were slack jawed. I could tell that they were like, this dude, he may know what he's doing. So I had the camera going, and they were all curious about, they didn't say anything, but they could, they were curious about how I had the camera. And then they knew exactly why when I cracked that nice bass. So then I get back in there, and I'm throwing, I'm using the same bait, and I catch a smaller one, pull them right out of the rapids, and now they know, they're, hey, this dude knows what he's doing for sure. And I don't think that they weren't upset, but they were just like, man, we fish here all the time, but we can't ever get anything, and this dude shows up and he just starts whacking fish one right after another. So I change it up. I think I threw a spinner. And to throw a spinner in that water, you have to know what you're doing, because what you do is, as soon as it hits, you kind of pull it up and let it glide in the current, and then you just pop it a little to get the blades going. So I threw a Meps in there, wham, cracked one right in the rapids down in there. And so I bring that fish in, and the old geezers are standing over there. They're bird down. They're looking at me. They're like, man, this guy has got another one. And so I'm just doing my own thing. So in the line of work that I'm in, I've got people watching me all the time, all day. So none of that bothers me, to people are around. So I throw the Meps back in there again. I crack another one. And then these dudes, live bait will always surpass anything. But I didn't have, any live bait. And those guys did. And so they set up shop down there below the rapids on the bottom side there. And, they're good Midwest guys. And they've had their method of fishing for a long time, and there's nothing wrong with how they were fishing. But they were fishing, but they were very curious as to, to how I was doing. And I hook into just a big smallmouth. I mean, I just knew as soon as I hit it, because he knew exactly what to do when I hooked him. He shot into the main current, and he started going down river, is how you would put it. He went downstream. Oh, did I mess this one up? Ooh, I messed this one up, guys. I messed this one up. We'll fix it. Anyway, so the fish started digging. Smallmouth will always just dig when you first get him. And he dug down in, and he went down 2 levels into off that where the spillway was coming in, down into the rocks. I mean, he dug down in there. Then he came up and he jumped, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is like this is like a trophy for this spot." So when he hit the water again, I'm always using 20-pound test, 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. I just had to horse him up in between 2 rocks, and he was fighting it, and I pulled him up, got him into the third pool, then I pulled him into the second pool, then I got him up to where I was, lipped him and pulled him out. He was getting tired, and I was like, man, this is a fish. And of course, those dudes, they'd had it. They were, they have a guy that comes up from down south and is just whacking fish like that, one right after another. And so the one dude, I couldn't hear him, because of the rapids, but as I was changing gear, I went over there just a little bit to ask him. I said, I couldn't hear you. What were you asking? He said, "You've never fished here before?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, I've fished here before. I just know what I'm doing, fishing the rapids." And he's like, "We never fished the rapids." And I said, "Man, just throw a curly tail grub in there and you'll have a blast doing it." Anyway, so then a couple of the guys didn't want to say anything to me, but the one dude, he was pretty cool. Talked to him for a little bit and then told him where, my grandparents' farm was up in that area. And so they knew that even though I was from down south, that, I was cool. And, but I was really proud that day because that was like I had been there before and I didn't have the success that I had that time. I mean, I had so many times where I lost lures snagging, trying to learn how to fish the rapids. You gotta be kidding me. Dang it, guys. See, I messed this one up. Crap. This, come on. I had that happen at one other spot when I was fishing up north. This was a big, big lake. And I piss these people off. But, they didn't say anything. You can just tell. The thing is, in my line of work, when I'm dealing with, I deal with so many people and different personalities. You can just tell by the vibe people give off. So I get to this big lake, and I think it was the one where I was testing that Bomber 7A. And anyway, so I fished the north side, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go fish the south side. It was shady over there, and it looked real fishy. Well, right at the start of that area, there was two women, an older dude, and then like a younger lady. And they were all fishing. I don't know what they were using, worms or throwing minnows, but they were like right at the area where I was coming into. And then I walked way past them down about 100 yards. So that was that same stretch of bank under the trees. It was really cool. There was like bluffs behind us, and it's a big lake. And so I wasn't encroaching in their area. There was no way for them to even cast that far to where I was. So I just get a Senko and I'm bombing it 2 feet off the bank there's like some uh, cabbage there, like some weeds and junk. Well, I start cracking fish one right after another. And I think I caught, not on every cast, but almost every cast. I just am just pulling fish out. They were all stacked in there. It was, typical stuff. It was shady under the trees. It was, you know, a good ambush point for smaller. Essentially, what they did was they had chased all the minnows and bait fish into that bank area, and they had them pinned in there. And, these are minnows, these are small bluegill, things like that. And there was no way they were getting out of there, the bait fish. So the bass would just cruise back and forth, and they would pick off what they wanted. So, I mean, I whack a few of them, like just one. It was like three or four, and then I thought, man, I'm gonna try a top water frog, one of my booyah pad crashers. So I walked down even further, and I stood right where I had caught those fish initially, and I cast even further down, and man, I hook into a huge fish. And of course, as usual, I'd have a terrible hookup ratio on the Booyah Pad Crasher. I don't wait long enough. But as fate would have it, I caught this pig and I let him run. He went way out there and I fought him, and then I brought him in, pulled him in, and it was just an awesome fish. So then I kind of went back to where I started, and I got, those people had moved about 30 yards closer to where I was. There was another bench, like a little picnic bench where they could sit. So they saw me catch those four in a row. And then when I moved down to throw the other one, they like hopped up and like moved to where closer to where I was. I knew because they wanted to catch the fish. So they're sitting there doing the same stuff. They had a couple lures, but they didn't catch anything that I could see. And so I went back to throwing the Senko back down the bank there. And I said, you know what? Since they moved in over here, I'm going to piss them off. So I got within about 15 yards where I was like 20 yards from them. And then when I casted, I was maybe like 5 yards away from where it hit right along the bank. And so I threw the Senko, it hits in there, I give it a twitch, bam! I just crush one. So I reel that fish in, and the old lady's like, well, are you going to catch them all over here? Are you going to leave some for us? And I just smiled. And I took it like, she was joking around, but she wasn't. She was being serious. And then I could hear the husband kind of mumble something. And yeah, it was pretty funny. And you know what? I caught two more out of that same bank area. I just ignored them. I was like, yeah, whatever your problem is, I don't know. So I whacked a few more there, and they got up and left. And then I pretty much had that whole area fished out using just the Senko. And I'll never forget that it's kind of a good feeling, but you don't want to upset people, but it felt good. All right, guys, did you realize we went through all of those? All of the rest of them. We went through the orange and the white. We're set. So now I can go back to these big ones that I got. We're not anywhere near to filling up the 1/16 little jig box. And like I showed you with this one, these are all piled. These are the little ones. They're fine in there. They look like they're all bunched up, but they're fine. So I've got them in a plastic bag, Ziploc. I'm going to take them up there for my cousins to enjoy. Especially I got one cousin that loves to ice fish. That'll be perfect little jig. He can drop down in there. Those will work for crappie too. If we go crappie fishing at a couple of our hot spots, he's going to want to test that out. All right, guys. Don't forget Harbor Freight. Keep your eyes peeled on the ammo cans. This one is the smaller one. For some reason, 30 cal sticks into my head. So I guess that's that. I think that's it. Anyway, what's up, bull market? The rapids are the best. How warm was it? Oh, it was nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. I was just talking in there. I don't know if you caught that bull market, but I got to get up to Lake Rathburn this summer. See if we can do some trolling with some of these Smithwicks that are deep divers. We'll give that a shot. See how that goes. So we'll see how that winds up going. And then we were talking a little bit about how I showed up to a couple of places where people were fishing, and I whacked a few fish, and they were like, what the heck is going on here? Anyway, uh, that happened here a couple of weeks ago, and rubbed me the wrong way. So a guy sees me pulling a bass, and they just start creeping. Every about 3 or 4, they move over like 2, 3 feet, 2, 3 feet, 2, 3 feet, and then they're within like 10 yards of me. And so I give the guy just a stare down, and he's like, "Oh, are you fishing this whole area here?" And I was like, "It's all right, you know." And I look, he was using some bait. I mean, they could have worked, but he didn't catch anything, and I whacked a few more out of there, and then I left, moved way down, and then I started catching them there, and then they moved to the spot where I was, and then other people showed up, and they moved in between me and them, and anyway, it was kind of funny. All right, guys, here we go. I'm going to start dropping them in. These are all dried. We went through the oranges. We get to the whites. And bada bing, bada boom. There we go. We are done with these, the little ones. Excellent. All right. So the plan is for tomorrow to do the square bill, kind of like a little March Madness competition kind of thing. I've got 9 baits. They're ready to go. I probably shouldn't clanking them around like that, but it'll be fine. And we're going to see what if we get skunked? What if we get skunked out there? What kind of a video would that be if I don't catch anything? It'll be funny. Everyone will be like, "Man, what the heck? What kind of video?" Hey, you know what? It's entertainment. You get to see if I can catch them on there, and then I don't know, I'll figure something else out. Anyway, that kind of stuff is fun to me. I did that with those stick baits. I think I did one this summer with 3 other brands. What were they? A Yum, something else, and something else. A Senko, a Yum, and a Strike King, something or other. And I think the Senko won. But you know what? I've kind of moved away from the Yama Senkos. That's the original Gary Yamamoto Yama Senko. And I moved to the Yums. I've got a box that's just packed with just different colored worms in there. And I need to do some worm videos. That's coming up. I'm going to do like a little split shot rig with different size worms. So I got a bunch of videos in the pipe, but the weather just needs to cooperate. I got crappie videos coming up, jerk bait, see which jerk baits. So we're doing the square bills. Then I'm probably need to do just an all 6 cents crankbait video, because I have like 9 different square bills in there, tons of them. So in order, bomber crankbaits, it's not even debatable. Those are the ones I really like. Bagleys, the rock crawler from Storm, the Demiki DC 300, 6 cents, and then probably the Normans. The Normans I'm kind of leery of. That's the one that Frank Scalish is always talking about, the Norman DD22s. They're made out of that butyrite. Butyrite, they quit making lures out of that because it had the cancer effects from it. And so, although I don't think that's, they don't worry about it. You know, they've been fishing for years with them. I don't know. It's unnecessary risk, but they're beautiful lures. And Frank does all the colors for them. So those are butyrate, and they make a different sound with a rattle in there. So anyway, that's, you know, in terms of I mean, Bomber's just done it for so long. There's a bunch of companies. You've got Hedden, you've got Bandit, you've got the Big O's, tons of them, but I just like the Bombers. They're back there somewhere. I don't know if you can see it or not. There it is. It's a new little Bomber lures sign. So the tackle stuff is growing more and more. I've had so much I wanted to put up there around where the baseball pennants are. All through there. There's a bunch of them hanging up here. Different ones, but I just, you know how it is, you get so busy, you forget to do stuff. And finally, I had a long, or a couple of stretches in there, a long stretch where I could actually get things done. And so I got those all sorted out. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully tomorrow everything works well with the weather. And let me pull up the weather real fast. Forecast. You know what's funny is even though I'm down here in Texas and I can go to WFAA, I still go to KWWL up in Iowa to pull up their radar if I need to look at a radar. But I'm just looking at a forecast, so I'm just doing it here at the local. Sunny, dry, and warm weekend for North Texas. Clear, dry tonight, 5 to 10, low of 47 degrees. Saturday, mostly sunny and dry, winds south, 10 to 15. Ooh, that's going to be perfect for me. High of 70. What? Somebody said we were supposed to get in the 90s this weekend. 80s. 80s this weekend. Monday, we're supposed to get up to 90. Sheesh. So Sunday, breezy, windy. What is going on here, man? This is like crazy. Sunday, 15 to 30 mile an hour. Ooh. The wind right there. All right. So I'm going to jump out of here. You guys take it easy. I got to get up at the crack of dawn, get stuff rolling. And I may be testing out a new rod this time. One that was an actual steel. Now, for the St. Croix before Christmas, the Black Friday deals, their rods were down to 60 bucks. A couple of the ones that I was looking at, and I got 3 of them. But this one, they didn't drop the price on over all the Black Friday through Christmas. And then the other day, when I was at Cambella's, what it's normally $170 rod, I found it for 119 bucks. About fell over. I'd been checking every time I went in there. It never changed. And then finally, 119 bucks, and I bought it. And it's the St. Croix Mojo Trigon, that SC3 carb, whatever, graphite. So 119 bucks. I scoped that thing out. It never would drop from $170, $169 range. Not anywhere between the holidays, before Black Friday, and then last week when I went in there looking for stuff, I couldn't believe it. So I bought it. It's sitting right there. I can grab it. I just restrung it. Ooh, my knees. I don't want to get it stuck in the ceiling fan, but it'll be upside down to you. But the Mojo, it's got this cool kind of an amber color. Look at this. I got a Reaction Innovations right on there. And of course, I got a Lose Custom CXP30. Really, I could get away with doing like a 20 or a 200, but I like these 300s. This is 6'8". So tomorrow, that's going to be the maiden voyage for that thing. Sorry, guys, my gut's in the way. Let me get this back. You're probably like, hey, man, your stomach's in the camera. Anyway, all right, so that'll be the plan for tomorrow. All right, until next time, I'll see you then. Don't stay up too late partying. Hey, tomorrow, go get your lures wet. Don't forget, check, go to LureNet, check the deals that are going on. In fact, I'm going to be poking around in there looking at stuff. I'm going to check eBay for any of those Kalen's Lunker Grubs and maybe a couple more Smithwicks, the jerk baits. So, anyway, all right, until next time, I will see you then. Over and out. Bye bye.